Hey, this is Georgie.
And Pete. And Basil.
And welcome to Studio Jargon Busters, where we take studio terminology and try to put it into plain English.
That's right. In every episode, we take a commonly used and maybe misunderstood studio, recordio, or audio term.
Recordio!
And we try to put
make up new words.
into plain English. Now, what are we going to talk about in plain English
today?
We're
talking about gain.
We're talking about gain today. So let's stage up some gain and talk about gain. Let's go. Oh. So, tell me everything that you know about gain.
I mean, I know about gaining things. I know about gaining income. I know about gaining weight. I know about gaining
the system.
That's
gaming.
I was gonna say I poon noobs.
You do poon noobs, but that's
got
nothing to do with gain.
No,
really.
That's game.
Do you hunt trolls?
No.
Do you feed trolls?
Never. Never feed the trolls.
Never feed the trolls.
Anyway.
So what do we mean by gain? Well, gain is one of those weird terms that means that's got another simpler version, which is volume, right? So there you go.
So it's gain volume.
Gain is volume.
All right, that's it. Done. See ya.
So why is gain also volume? I think you've brought this up before on these episodes, but
it's ridiculous.
There are things that they're the same thing and they have two words. Now, you could argue that gain and volume are slightly different, but they're really not. So
I'm not going to argue that.
Your gain is the volume of your signal. So,
what's a signal?
What's a signal? Signal is that's right. That's a good point. We should explain signal. Signal is your audio signal. So if you plug a microphone,
use the word to explain the word.
I was explaining the word. Signal or audio signal is the information or the sound waves going through the cable that you plug in. So you plug in a microphone into an audio interface. We've talked about those, yeah? And then the signal, what's going on here? Then the signal goes into there and then you have an input gain. So you adjust the input gain to dial it up if you need more volume or more gain. Dial it down if you have not enough gain. Where do you think you should dial your gain in when you're doing your input gain?
Where do I think I should dial my gain in?
Yes, that's a question that everyone's asking.
I have no idea.
So you should dial your gain so that it doesn't peak or clip. Do you know what peaking or clipping is? Have we talked about that before?
Yeah, that's when it hits the top.
That's when you hit the top.
Yes, we've talked
so
about
you want to dial it up so that it's usually between 50 and 75% of your maximum. So you don't want to be peaking or clipping, but you don't want a signal that's so quiet that you can't hear it, because then exactly no one will understand what you're singing or playing or doing. So you want to make sure that your volume, your gain is. So that's a description of gain. And then there is something called gain staging, which means the different stages of your gain. Again, I've explained to something by saying the same words again.
Stages of your volume.
Yeah. So let's imagine
levels of volume.
Yeah.
Can we say levels of volume?
Levels is a good way to put it.
Can we just say levels of volume and be done with it?
Yeah. So there's no gain staging. It's now levels of volume. So don't talk about gain staging.
You're
Georgie
welcome.
has fixed it. Levels of volume. So your levels of volume going in to your audio interface. So you would do your gain staging or your volume leveling, as you might want to call it, to make sure that you've got your. So. And the reason it's called staging is you might have a guitar plugged in, and then you dial in the volume on the guitar. And then it goes into your input gain, you dial in the volume on your interface. Then it goes into a digital audio workstation, you dial in the volume there. Then it might be output to some speakers, and you dial in the volume there. So it's done in stages, and you need to make sure that at no stage do you dial in too much gain so that you start clipping, distorting, and getting a bad quality sound. You don't want to hit the roof. You want to do that with your limiting later, which we've talked about limiting, and your mixing and your mastering and all that jazz. But when you're recording, you do not want to be peaking or clipping. So when we talk about gain in the audio world, we're talking about volume, and we're usually talking about having enough gain, but not too much gain. Now, microphones. So there's two types of microphones, and I don't think we've talked about microphones in the series yet, but assume we have, or in the future when I can link a video about microphones. In fact, I already have a video about microphones. I'll link it anyway. So when we're talking about microphones, there's two types. There's dynamic microphones and condenser microphones. Dynamic microphones plug in and they don't have much gain. They don't have any power, so there's no power going into a dynamic microphone. They're like your handheld microphone that you use on stage. So you need to have an amp. You need to have a preamp that's got a lot of gain. You need to be able to really dial that sucker up. If you're using a condenser microphone, which we're using here, like that. If you're using a condenser microphone like that, then it has a lot more gain. It's going to pick up a lot more of the signal, and then it's going to be able to be louder, and you don't need as much gain. So you need to be really careful if you're changing between instruments and microphones that you're putting the right amount of gain or volume leveling, which I'm going to use from now on. It's going to be called volume leveling.
Volume leveling. You're welcome.
So, do you have any questions about gain?
No, I fixed gain. It's volume.
You fixed gain, it's volume. Yeah, it is one of those weird things that if you want to sound fancier and you want to try and impress people or intimidate people, you can just say, what's your gain staging like? Have you got your gain staging right, man?
And then if you're not a tool, you can say, you mean volume?
Yes. Do you have enough volume? Is it loud enough?
Is it loud enough?
Or is it not loud enough? And is it too loud? It's going to be too loud. Don't make it too loud or you'll hurt your ears and it will be distorted and it will be bad. Do you like my t-shirt?
I do. Can I get one?
We call that a segue. You know how we talked about brick wall limiters? That's a brick wall segue.
Brick wall segue.
If you'd like
Punches
to
you in the
stylish
face.
like this, you don't even own one yet. You haven't even bought one. So Georgie's going to jump straight on right now. She's going to go to studiolivetoday.com/merch and she is going to pick up a Studio Live Today t-shirt for just $20. And if you do...
$20? What a bargain.
What a bargain. If you do pick up a t-shirt, you're going to be supporting the channel here. You're going to be helping me buy more audio interfaces and gear and continue producing more quality content. And then Georgie will be able to explain to you things in common English and change things like gain back to volume.
I'm not explaining anything. I'm just making sure you explain it properly.
And just changing the industry, one word at a time. So next time, we need to work out another word that you're going to change the name of.
All right. You find the word, I'll change it.
Microphone is going to be loud talking stick. That's going to be in the next Studio Jargon Busters. We'll get our loud talking sticks ready to go and we'll be joining you then. If you've got comments, questions or suggestions, you can leave those down below. Go buy yourself a t-shirt and we'll see you before next time. We'll see you next time.
Time.
Bye.
Bye.